Imagine typing a single innocent word like the name of a video game into your web browser.
Right.
And in a fraction of a second, your autofill history exposes your deepest medical anxieties to 1 million strangers.
Oh, wow.
Strangers who then immediately demand your private blood work on a live stream, just to prove you aren't hiding some secret disease.
It's just a completely unprecedented landscape we're living in.
Exactly. So today, we are bringing you along on our mission for this deep dive. We are exploring the absolute chaos where celebrity culture collides with internet sleuthing.
Yeah, we're really looking at how public figures try to navigate these wild online conspiracy theories, the intense scrutiny, and sometimes, really profound personal trauma in the digital age.
Because today, a red carpet photo, or, the balloon aesthetic at a birthday party, even an accidental screen share, can instantly transform into a global controversy overnight.
Right. The microscope isn't just on, the magnification is turned all the way up. And the people looking through the lens, they're looking for a very specific type of flaw.
It's like the internet has become this massive, obsessive, unpaid armchair detective agency. Millions of people constantly dusting for fingerprints where there isn't even a crime scene.
Armchair detective agency is the perfect way to frame it. Because the goal of this digital agency isn't actually to find the truth. The goal is to construct a narrative. And human psychology dictates that the more dramatic or scandalous or conspiratorial the narrative is, the more the algorithm and our own brains reward it.
Totally. But to see exactly how this agency operates, we have to look at the most literal form of this intense scrutiny. Let's look at the internet's policing of a woman's physical body.
Okay.
Let's talk about Anne Hathaway.
Oh, such a fascinating case study. It really highlights how the digital public feels this immense, almost biological sense of ownership over a celebrity's physical form.
Right. Okay, let's unpack the timeline here for you. Anne Hathaway is pregnant, giving birth in her late 30s, I think approaching 40. She steps out on a red carpet, and instead of people just saying, "Oh, wonderful, congratulations, the internet completely spirals," they decide en masse that she is faking her pregnancy and wearing a silicone belly.
And if you look at the evidence they used to support this wild claim, it was entirely based on a total misunderstanding of human anatomy.
Literally.
Specifically, the anatomy of a highly fit woman.
Yes. Armchair detectives were zooming in on these tiny indentations on the side of her stomach in the photos. Now, she's a major movie star. She works out incredibly hard. So she likely just has those defined V-abs that sometimes show up even during pregnancy.
Right.
But the comment sections went wild. People were calling it a prosthetic edge. Someone genuinely suggested it was a hernia.
Oh, my gosh.
Some were even questioning if the paparazzi photos were AI generated.
What's truly fascinating here is the absolute certainty of the crowd. You have thousands of people validating each other in the comments, collectively deciding that a 39 or 40-year-old woman is orchestrating this massive, bizarre, multi-cheered lie.
Yeah, it's wild.
It speaks to a deep-seated suspicion we've developed towards anything we see from a public figure. If something looks slightly outside the norm, like a very fit pregnant belly, the immediate psychological leap is to assume deception rather than natural variation.
So wait, let me play devil's advocate here for a second.
Yeah.
Don't celebrities inherently invite this kind of scrutiny? Anne Hathaway has built a highly lucrative career monetizing her visibility. If you build an empire by selling your image to the public, doesn't the public have a right to feel a sense of ownership over the details of that image?
Well, that is exactly the justification the internet uses. But it conflates two very different things.
Oh, so?
There's a massive difference between consuming a celebrity's art or their curated red carpet fashion and demanding absolute biological surveillance of their uterus.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
When we demand that a woman prove the authenticity of her own pregnancy to millions of strangers, we are crossing a line from cultural commentary into biological policing.
That is a really great distinction. And honestly, Anne's response was an absolute masterclass in handling that exact policing.
It really was.
She didn't issue some sterile PR statement through a publicist. She posted a photo on Instagram of herself getting ready for some press with the caption, "Fake hair, real bump."
Right. It was a highly strategic, disarming move. She used humor to highlight the absurdity of the demand.
Totally. And the kicker, in a little clip from Getting Ready, a tiny silicone bra piece actually falls off her.
I remember that.
Which perfectly and totally accidentally explains why she might have had a piece of silicone on her person that day. It was the ultimate uterus receipts clapback. Just a flawless PR chess move.
It was effective, certainly, but it still highlights a staggering hypocrisy. You know, the internet will furiously clutch its pearls over the idea of a fake pregnancy, spinning these wild, puritanical conspiracies.
Right.
Yet that exact same digital crowd will turn around and call women who openly share their struggles with infertility attention-seeking.
Ugh, it's a complete no-win scenario. And to add context for you listening, this is basically the summer of Anne Hathaway. She has 6 movies out this year. A project of hers just crossed into the billion-dollar club. She is everywhere.
Yeah, she's having a massive moment.
Yet, despite being at the top of her game, you hear her on the red carpet practically apologizing for taking up space, saying she feels the need to apologize for being everywhere again.
Which perfectly illustrates how this policing is used to cut successful women down to size.
Exactly.
Achieve massive success, but don't be too visible. Be transparent, but not in a way that makes us uncomfortable. Be authentic, but only the specific brand of authenticity we've pre-approved for you.
So if that's how we police the physical body, what happens when you normalize that level of scrutiny? Because it seems like once you demand receipts for someone's biology, that same digital microscope inevitably shifts to policing their class, their wealth, and their social circles.
Oh, absolutely.
Which brings us to Kylie Jenner.
Right. If there is a thesis to be found in Kylie's digital footprint, it's that immense wealth does not act as a shield against the internet's microscope. In fact, it often focuses the lens even sharper.
Turning every aesthetic choice into a cultural battleground.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about Kylie's birthday party. It's a highly exclusive event. Hailey Bieber is there, apparently arriving 5 hours early just to help mix drinks and make everything look perfectly aesthetic.
As one does.
Right. Justin Bieber is there, Kim, Khloe, Kendall. But the internet wasn't focused on the massive star power in the room. They were relentlessly critiquing the party supplies.
Because the internet noticed that the materials used for the party, the balloons, the decorations, appeared somewhat inexpensive or pared down.
Right, especially compared to the extravagant standard usually set by the Kardashian-Jenner family.
Yeah.
The armchair detectives called it a recession indicator. People were accusing her of role-playing simple or poor parties, saying it's the ultimate rich person entitlement to cosplay the working class. Commenters speculated she was just adopting a simple girl next door aesthetic to impress her boyfriend, Timothy Chalamet. But here's the wild part. Contrast this reaction with the criticism Khloe Kardashian got for her 42nd birthday just a little while ago.
Right. I know where you're going with this.
Khloe was absolutely blasted by the internet for her party being too extravagant, with people calling out the ridiculous amount of plastic waste.
It's a brilliant comparison because it functions like a digital Rorschach test. The balloons themselves don't actually matter. What matters is what the audience projects onto them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For the ultra-rich, authenticity is a moving target. If they throw a lavish, over-the-top party, they are tone-deaf, wasteful, and out of touch with the struggles of everyday people.
And if they throw a low-key, simple party,
they are accused of faking a relatable aesthetic for PR.
Is it possible to win? Like, genuinely, what is the correct move there?
In short, no. Because the public's relationship with these figures isn't about seeking genuine connection.
What is it about then?
It's a mechanism for the public to process their own societal anxieties about wealth inequality and class struggle. The celebrity is just a canvas for our cultural arguments.
And speaking of projecting our anxieties, the armchair detectives were also laser-focused on a glaring absence at Kylie's birthday party. Her best friend, Stassi Baby, who pretty much gained her massive platform through her proximity to Kylie, was nowhere to be found.
And in the panopticon of celebrity internet culture, a missed birthday is rarely interpreted as just a scheduling conflict.
Never. The internet noticed Stassi skipped the party to travel through Europe, hitting up London and Monaco with mega influencer Alex Earle, and immediately the blind items start dropping.
Of course they do.
The rumor mill went into overdrive, suggesting Stassi's luxury European trip wasn't just a girl's getaway, but that she was operating as a yacht girl, funded by an 80-year-old, specifically 78-year-old Polish billionaire named Jerzy Starak.
This is where we see the phenomenon of flattening in digital spaces. Yeah, the internet sleuthing turns from critiquing party balloons to aggressively digging up complex international financial and personal histories, treating it all as part of the exact same game.
They dug so deep. They found out this man is worth $4 billion. He owns the pharmaceutical giant Polpharma.
Whoa.
They pulled up pictures of his wife, Anna, and the internet immediately pointed out that she looks eerily like an older version of Stassi.
Creepy.
But then the digging got significantly darker. They linked him to a real-life, tragic 2019 boating accident on a lake in Poland where his stepson, Piotr, died.
It's a deeply jarring shift. You start with idle gossip about why someone missed a birthday party, and suddenly you're uncovering a family's real-life tragedy from years ago.
Just casually dropping it in a comment section.
Exactly. In the digital space, the trivial gossip and the profound tragedy are treated with the exact same weight. They are just clues in this ongoing parasocial investigation. It also highlights a deeply ingrained misogyny in the yacht girl trope.
Wait, break that down for me. Why is that specific trope so pervasive?
Because it's a convenient way for the public to strip female influencers of their agency.
Oh, I see.
When a young woman like Stassi achieves massive financial success and access to luxury, the internet struggles to attribute that to her own business acumen or networking skills.
Right, they can't just let her be successful.
The yacht girl rumor acts as a societal corrective. It insists that her success must be tied to nefarious transactional proximity to powerful male billionaires.
Whoa, that makes so much sense. Stassi, for her part, had to come out and publicly deny being an escort or a yacht girl, claiming she is, quote, terrified of men.
I mean, you can't blame her.
But the fact that she had to address it just shows how quickly a missed party turns into an international conspiracy theory involving pharmaceutical billionaires and tragic histories.
It does. And that flattening we just talked about, where the internet treats a tragic boating accident as just another piece of juicy gossip, brings us to a crucial pivot in this deep dive.
How so?
Because beneath the surface-level scrutiny of aesthetics and billionaire-blind items, there are real life-and-death realities that exist within these famous families. The internet forgets that these are actual human beings who have endured profound trauma.
Which brings us to Travis Barker, who is, heavily connected to the Kardashian-Jenner universe. If we want to understand the modern ecosystem of fame, trauma, and the internet, we have to look at what happened to Travis in 2008.
The South Carolina plane crash.
Yeah.
This is a moment that forever altered his life and the psychological landscape of his entire family.
Think about the last time you had a terrible gut feeling about a flight or a long drive. Just an unshakable sense of dread.
Yeah.
Now imagine having to step onto that vehicle anyway because a massive tour schedule is waiting on you. That was Travis. It was after a gig with Gavin DeGraw and Jane's Addiction.
Right.
Travis and his crew were eager to get home, so they booked a private plane at the super last minute. It was heavily foggy. And Travis, who was already famously paranoid about flying, was extremely on edge.
He even called his dad, right?
Yeah. He did. He called his dad, Randy, from the tarmac and told him he had an awful feeling. He specifically said, if something happens to me, please make sure the kids are taken care of.
The psychological weight of that moment is staggering. To possess that instinctual dread, to actually voice it out loud to your father, and then to step onto the plane anyway because of the momentum of the schedule and the pressure of the industry commitments.
And tragically, that dread was entirely warranted. The plane crashed. The two pilots died, Travis's assistant Chris Baker died, and his security guard died.
It was horrific.
Out of everyone on board, Travis and only one other person survived. It is an unfathomable tragedy. But there is a detail to this story that genuinely gave me chills when I first learned about it.
You referring to his daughter's premonition?
Yes. Hours before that flight, Travis's toddler daughter, Alabama Barker, who was only 3 or 4 years old at the time, was begging him not to go.
That is just so wild.
She was bawling, which she said was unusual for her. And she kept saying over and over, the roof's going to come off.
It's a deeply haunting detail.
It's terrifying. It's like this inexplicable sixth sense. Travis was so shaken by her pleas that he actually considered pulling out of the gig entirely. Just imagine the trauma embedded in that family's history. The fact that this tiny child somehow sensed the impending disaster and then had to live through the aftermath of her father surviving it.
And this is exactly why it is so crucial to ground our discussions of celebrity culture in these realities. When we look at these figures through the digital microscope, we usually only see the glossy tabloid fodder, the red carpets, the reality shows, the brand deals.
Yeah, the surface level stuff.
But behind that heavily constructed facade are real people carrying the scars of immense trauma. That crash didn't just happen to a rock star. It happened to a father, and the aftermath shaped his entire family's existence.
Which brings us perfectly full circle, setting up the final piece of this digital puzzle. Because that little girl, Alabama Barker, the toddler with the chilling premonition, she is now a 20-year-old woman. And she is navigating the exact same brutal internet microscope that we saw dissecting Anne Hathaway's body and Kylie Jenner's birthday party.
The cycle continues, but the tools of scrutiny have evolved from paparazzi lenses to digital panopticons.
Okay, let's unpack the scenario I mentioned at the very beginning of the show. Alabama is doing a live stream, just casually chatting with her followers, and she starts typing Roblox, the gaming platform, into her browser. But the internet misses nothing. In a fraction of a second, her browser search autocomplete is exposed on screen, and the internet sees that she had recently searched Roman herpes treatment online genital herpes medication.
And predictably, the armchair detectives immediately bounced.
They were ruthless. They attacked her instantly, spreading it everywhere. This young woman who grew up in the shadow of immense family trauma had to go back on a live stream, clearly distressed, yelling to thousands of strangers, "I am clean. I will post my blood work."
I want to pause here, because the fact that a 20-year-old feels compelled to offer her private, literal medical records to silence a digital mob is a deeply disturbing commentary on our current culture of surveillance and entitlement.
It really is.
We have normalized the invasion of privacy to a terrifying degree.
And her explanation for the search was so incredibly relatable. She said she struggles with severe health anxiety.
Which is very common.
Right. She was watching another content creator who had a bump on their lip. She didn't know what it looked like, and she just Googled it out of pure curiosity and anxiety. She literally had to show her lips closely on camera as proof to the internet that she had no bumps.
Wow.
I have to ask you, and honestly, I have to ask you listening to this right now, who among us hasn't gone down a massive WebMD rabbit hole at 2 a.m. out of sheer panic or curiosity over something we saw online?
It is a nearly universal human experience in the digital age. In fact, some of the more empathetic commenters in the space pointed out that looking up medications purely out of curiosity or health anxiety is completely normal.
Oh, absolutely.
People look up HIV medication, for example, just to educate themselves or understand how it works.
Exactly. And the supreme irony of this whole spectacle, the telehealth company Ro.co, which provides those kinds of treatments online, was actually brought up in the digital chatter as a potential sponsor opportunity for her after this whole debacle.
Of course it was.
The internet's ultimate solution is turning a traumatic privacy leak into a monetizable brand deal.
If we synthesize everything we've looked at today, this is the crux of the issue. Whether it is an accidental search history leak from a 20-year-old, a red carpet photo of a 40-year-old woman's stomach, or the balloons at a billionaire's birthday party.
Yeah.
The internet operates by systematically stripping away all nuance and human context. It flattens real, messy human life into a
We dug into the digital Rorschach test of Kylie Jenner's birthday and the underlying misogyny of the yacht girl blind items. We grounded it all in the devastating reality of Travis Barker's 2008 plane crash.
Right.
And we watched how that trauma informs the life of a young woman now having to defend an innocent, anxiety-driven Roblox search on a live stream.
It is a dizzying journey, but it reveals a very clear, often uncomfortable pattern about us, the audience.
What's that?
We demand absolute, total transparency from public figures. But when they actually give us a glimpse behind the curtain, whether it's a natural pregnancy bump, a pared-down party, or an innocent anxiety-driven Google search, we immediately accuse them of faking it or hiding a much darker conspiracy.
All right, because a simple explanation doesn't give the armchair detectives anything to investigate.
Precisely.
Right.
Which leaves us with a critical and perhaps unsettling final thought to chew on.
Okay, lay it on us.
We've spent this entire time analyzing the armchair detective as a toxic byproduct of internet culture. But as we move into an era where AI and deepfakes are becoming completely indistinguishable from reality, where a video of a celebrity saying or doing something can be entirely fabricated in seconds, will this culture of extreme paranoia actually become our only defense mechanism?
Oh, wow.
Will the obsessive, zooming-in, receipt-demanding internet sleuth go from being a toxic troll to a necessary survival skill in the digital age? At what point do we have to admit that the internet doesn't actually want the truth, but just a better script for its own entertainment?
Wow, that really flips the whole concept on its head. As reality becomes entirely malleable, maybe the armchair detective agency is the only thing keeping us tethered to the truth. Definitely something for you to mull over the next time you find yourself zooming in on a blurry photo or questioning an autofill search. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep your magnifying glasses handy, but maybe, just maybe, remember the human on the other side of the lens. Catch you next time.